For number 74, we want to start by identifying the conic section and then give equations necessary to graph it on a calculator. So what that means is we're going to have to solve for an equation where it's y equals something, because that's what you can type into a normal calculator. Now, identifying the conic section, that's in chapter 6 from the book. And since we have a y squared and there's no x squared term, we know it's a parabola that opens sideways, left and right. So with a y squared, without an x squared, sideways parabola opening left and right. So now for the work of getting it, solving this so that it's y equals something and we can graph it. So here's the equation we start with. We want to get the y terms alone on one side, so I'm subtracting 8 from both sides. And now we have to do completing the square, and that's back in chapter 1 where we're talking about quadratic equations. The completing the square method is what we're going to want to use with the y terms. So we want there just to be a y squared, not with this 4 in front. I'm going to divide everything by 4, so the whole entire left side, get rid of the 4, that's my goal, and divide this term by 4 as well. So now the way you complete the square is you take half of that middle term, which would be 7 over 8. That's half of 7 over 4. And then you square it, and that's what you add on to both sides. So if you had 7 over 8 and squared it, you get 49 over 64, and you're adding that to both sides. And the reason you do that, I have a duplicate line here that doesn't change anything. So the reason you do that is because now you can write that entire side as a square. So if you expanded this out using FOIL or just a binomial expansion, you would get this. So we've completed the square. And from here on, we're going to just use a lot of algebra to get y by itself. So first, we need to take the square root of both sides. And so that will give us the square root of the entire left side. And we got rid of that squared thing on the right side. And so when you take the square root like this, you do get the positive version of the other side and also the negative version. And don't worry that negative is a little bit off the screen here. The algebra is exactly the same to solve both of these for y. And so we really just need to focus on one of them. So add 7/8 to both sides. That's what we do next. And I would like to reduce what's underneath the square root now. So we had a 4 here. To add these fractions, they both have to have the same denominator of 64. So multiply everything here by 16. So 16x, 8 times 16 is 128, and 4 times 16 is 64. So now I'll be able to combine those terms into the square root. And again, I'm doing that on both of these equations. And so combining the terms under the square root means negative 128 plus the 49 gives me a negative 79. So they combine, the square root combines to just that. Now you can take the square root of just the top and the square root of just the bottom, and the square root of 64 is 8. So that's what we get to. Now we have two fractions, same denominator. We can combine those. And so you would have 7 plus that square root over 8. And that is what you can type into your calculator. Now on the other side, we had that negative coming down all the way. And so it would just be 7 minus that same exact numbers there. And that is how you would type it into your calculator then to get the graph of that parabola that opens left and right.